We're here with another very important tonic called Shou. Now Shou is another tonic which is almost a legendary status. And this plant here produces two herbs, in fact. One is the Shou, which is the root. This is particularly good specimen here. The larger the root, then the more valuable it is. And this was grown in the garden, so I'm very pleased with this. In fact, I think the quality of Shou in this country, it could be very good. The other reason I say that is because it's also got a very hard texture. And so this is another good indication of being good quality. The second herb we get from here is not so important, but it's called Shou Teng, which is the vine that comes from the top. This is obviously from an older plant. But these are two herbs from the same plant. We're only going to talk about the root because it's been processed with Pao Zhi. The name of this plant has changed due to DNA analysis. It's now called Raynaudtia multiflora. We know it usually as Polygonum multiflora, and it's from the Polygonaceae family, not a natural place to look for a tonic, as we'll see later when we see some other from this family. Also, this is a relative of the Russian vine, which is a very invasive plant, and even this one you do have to be careful of, but it's better behaved than the Russian vine. And so we grow it on this big platform here and keep control of the spreading. But what we're interested in here is in the root formations, and you can see from here this large sort of swelling that forms on the root. This is the Shou that we're interested in collecting. So I'm going to take some of that out and show you what it's like in its fresh state. You can see here the pattern of the roots. These are the vascular bundles, which are the xylem and phloem. This is very, very indicative of this particular plant. And it's also used to distinguish this particular variety from the Russian vine. And now, because the size of the root is so valuable, there are people that try to sell the Russian vine root instead of this root because it has a larger root. But you can see that this pattern is what will distinguish it from the Russian vine. You can see in these two pictures the comparison between the Russian vine and the correct Shou. The pattern of the Russian vine seen here on the left lacks the organized structure of the correct species of Shou shown on the right. Here in this fresh or cyan form of Shou, you see the patterns, as I say, of the anthraquinones. This is not a stage that you would take because it's highly laxative. This is quite toxic. So we never use the fresh form of this herb at all. And in fact, this dried form here, you can still see the pattern. This is the Sheng form. You still see it has the patterning, but it's still got anthraquinones in. So this is sometimes used as a laxative or for moving the bowel, but again, it's slightly harsh. To produce the tonic herb that we need, we have to go into Pao Zhi processing. And this is rather a complicated process with this particular plant. This is the Pao Zhi version. It's very black, and the reason is it's been processed very lengthily with black bean juice. They boil it in black bean juice and they take it out and they dry it and boil it up to 7 times. So quite a long process. And in that form, now as Shou, we now have a tonic, which is a very, very important tonic. This is the form of processed Shou that is the liver and kidney tonic that we use and is so important in Chinese medicine. But there are different ways that this is done throughout China, and there's always a method which is trying to be shorter than the traditional method. So we need to be able to check whether the traditional method of several boilings over a long period of time is necessary to produce this, or we can use the shorter methods. So we can use infrared technology for looking at the chemistry of this process to see if we can identify if these shorter methods are any good. There are about 100 chemicals being identified from the root of Shou. This profile shows the change in chemistry over different periods of time using traditional processing methods. The important ones with regard to processing are anthraquinones, stilbene glycosides and polysaccharides. The graph of the changes of these chemicals using the infrared analysis indicates that whilst appreciable changes can occur after 6 hours, the process is optimized at 16 hours. it would appear that the longer traditional methods are needed.